Hello, it is Thursday, March 18th, 2021. Hey, Percentage Guy, how's it going? Yeah, I don't know why. Danny has joined the chat. I don't know why I don't know why I look like a serial killer when I smile, but I just do. It's weird. It's me into a lot of trouble sometimes. Not really, but it could. Oh my god, why is my computer being slow? Also, why did it not load my browser? I don't know. God, I hate this thing. At least the camera's working though. Very disorganized. There we go. Okay. So everything's working. Cool. Okay. So, do you know Danny? I know of Danny, but no, I don't know him personally. I've seen some of his YouTube videos. As I see, I've seen the thumbnails for his YouTube videos as I scroll through YouTube, so I'm vaguely familiar with the sort of stuff that he does. Like, he makes games, and they're usually pretty funny, and, you know, stuff like that. I should watch one of his videos one day, but I don't know what value it would have to me. It's probably interesting content, but I'm just not into it. But as far as the particle system for Unity goes, yeah, I've used it before. I mean, it's better than doing a lot of the stuff for yourself. Like, it's usable. I wouldn't say it's super great. Like, I've never been able to make things look really, really good with it. But, you know, it's not, it's not terrible, put it that way. So, put it simply, I'm an alcoholic. Oh. Yeah, I am the same way about coffee. Drink tons and tons of coffee all the time. Gotta stop. It's probably really bad for my blood pressure. He's addicted with the Unity particle system. Oh wow. I wonder. I don't know what you could. Okay, I might have to watch some of his videos then, because I want to see what he does with it. I'm not. It's working on a game called Carlson. You should go wishlist on Steam. So you're advertising for Danny? Let me see. Let me go to Steam really quick and actually look at it. I can probably guess what it looks like, but yep, that looks like a Danny game. Is this done in Unity or is this done in Unreal? This looks like something that's done in Unreal, actually. Huh. It's interesting. This is his only game? Wow, that's incredible. That's Unity. Wow, that's really good. That's really good for Unity. Anyway, I do want to talk about what I'm going to do today. So today, that's impressive. I will definitely have to keep up with that. So I have done a little bit of work on this list view thing. So we've been trying to make a list view that will be mostly generic. I just have this sort of skills object here that declares a bunch of skills. It's not super important what it actually does. It just has a list of skills, blah, blah, blah. That's the important part. So what we do is we have a skill view, or we have this list view component. We go to the skill list, we get all the skills in a list. We select the ones where they can be shown. We filter out the ones that the player doesn't already have. Then we map each skill to its name, and then we add it to the skill view. And so what that looks like is basically there's like 6 or 7 at the beginning that you can learn. Reviewed my improved documentation and compared to the old one. I will probably do that like after the stream or something. I haven't had a chance to look at it, but I did see that you sent it on Discord. So what we do in the update function here is we look for the W key. That will cause the selection to move up. -1 is what we use because the element at the top is 0. So the elements below are 1, 2, 3, 4 in that order, going down. So using the S key, we can move down. And the move selection, it just has this basic, if you're trying to select something and you want to wrap, and you want the items to wrap, an easy way to do that, if you know that the amount that you're moving by is always going to be less than the count, is you just add the current index to the amount, and then you add in the length, and then you modulus by the length, and that will cause automatic wrapping. So for instance, if we are at, say if we have 5 elements, currently have 0, and we're at -1, what'll happen is we will go to, we'll have 5, 0, and then -1, so it'll be 4, modulus the count, which will end up being 4. But if you have 5, and then you add 1, it will be 5 to 6 plus the, or sorry, it'll be 5 to, let's say the selected index is 5. So you'd have 10 plus 1, that's 11, modulus 5 would get you back to 1. Maybe, no, the index would be 4 actually, because the max index would be 4, so it'd be 9 plus 1, which would wrap back to 10. Anyway, to prove that that works, I'll just run it, because that's much easier. So as you can see, we have our skills here, so if I press the W key, it will let us select each one in turn, and then if we go off the bottom, it goes up to the top. If we go off the top, it goes up to the bottom. So that's kind of what I want. The new one is actually organized, while the old one just slapped the code into a Google document. Okay. I don't know. That's what I usually do with my documentation, is I just put everything into a Google Doc, and it's like, good luck, have fun. Or even worse, I'll put it into like the Git README and just be like, yeah, that's fine. But anyway, I was trying to think, I did something else. Oh yeah, I added a unselected callback. It's basically whenever we change the highlighting, which we do after each selection, we change the highlighting, we will, if there is an item, or sorry, if the current item is selected, then we invoke that on, or we invoke the onSelect on the elements in list, so we get the name. So in the test component, that works out to be show details of skill name. So we go to the skill list.all and we find a skill whose name is equal to that name. This is super inefficient, by the way, but we're doing it anyway. And then we show the description. So yeah, that's how we're doing that. We do need to add a couple more features to this, though, before it is fully complete. So in the game that I want to create, on the left there will be some stats, and on the right there will be a couple buttons, and each button, well, some of the buttons will correspond to different lists, and I don't have my design document with me. You know, back then I was told Python is very similar to Lua, and now I'm like, you lied to me. Yeah. Well, Python and Lua are similar in the sense that they are both interpreted languages, or they can be interpreted. I think Lua, I want to say Lua has to be interpreted. I don't think you can compile Lua, but I know you can compile Python. I know that's a thing you can do, because the interpreter usually does compile it right before running it. But Lua itself, I believe, is strictly interpreted. And they're similar in the fact that they don't have like line termination, like they don't have semicolons or anything. And I think Lua, no, I don't know about the expressions or anything. I'm trying to think. Like, I think there's something with Lua objects always returning a value or something. I don't know. It's all weird. I don't know. I would say I prefer something like, well, actually, so in Lua and Python, you can both do what's called monkey patching, where you can go into objects and sort of mess with them after runtime. A couple languages support that. Java and C# do not. Most compiled languages actually don't support monkey patching. But things like, again, Python, Lua, Ruby supports it, JavaScript supports it. It's a neat little feature. But yeah, that's sort of how they're similar. They're similar in the fact that they're just used as scripting languages pretty commonly. But in terms of like the actual, specific features of the language, they're very different. I think Python is probably a little bit better, just in the fact Java and C# do not. Yeah, well, no, you still can't, even in debug mode, like in JavaScript, you can, like in things like Ruby and JavaScript, you can actually mess with like the built-in sort of classes, like the string classes and things like that. Like you can go, like in Ruby for instance, you can like crack open the string class and you can actually mess with how it works. In JavaScript, you can like add things to like the default object class, whereas in like Java and C# you can't. You can't break them open. They're too sealed up. I mean, I guess you can if you mess with like the bytecode or something, but at that point it's getting kind of crazy. But I think Python will let you do it. Like Python has like meta programming or something, and then Lua has like meta tables that you can use to do that. So you can go mess with the meta tables of something, and it will change how it works. And that's what makes something like Lua really cool, because you can like reprogram. Well, I mean not reprogram, but you could build like any kind of inheritance system you wanted in Lua, and it would be awesome. I've never done it, but I kind of want to. But it would be a ton of work. But yeah, that's kind of the difference there. There's a lot of nuance to programming. I've spent way too much time studying it. I don't want that to be too dark, because then it becomes unseeable. I do want these sidebars, though. Okay, so it's 0, and then I want U aligned here. But yeah, Eclipse, the debug mode is pretty cool. So if you ever make click Lua 2, I'll remove the prefixes CL before functions and stuff like that, because it just makes no sense. Yeah, prefixes, I've always, so there's, that's usually called Hungarian notation, whenever you have prefixes. And actually, it's kind of funny, because it was developed, like, in C sometimes you'll see, like, you know, what I'm thinking. Like, you'd see, like, you know, int, you know, I, you know, whatever, and it's called Hungarian notation. And so, like, strings or whatever, like, you know, if you have, like, a string in C, it's usually, I think, a character pointer, and it's a pointer to a 0 terminated string, so it's PSZ. It's a pointer to a string that is 0 terminated, and then it's equal to, you know, like 1, 2, 3 or something. It's like god awful how they do it, you know, number or something. But you'll see that. And the funny, like the really crazy part is that some old like languages had a cap on the length of like a variable name. So they'd be like, you know, it'd force you to be like only 8 characters. So number here would have to be like NUMBR or something. Because the like old languages, you could only have like 8 characters in the variable name. So you'd have something like this nonsense. And you'd have to know that it's like pointer to a 0 terminated string called a number. So yeah, it's funny. Release date. Quick Lua's official release date will be the 20th with build 10. Okay. It's good. Looking forward to build 10. That'll be nice. Okay. So let's go back here. So one thing that I want, so there's a couple things that I want here. One of them is I want on-screen buttons that will control this list. And I also want to be able to swap between different lists. So I'm trying to think of how to actually do that. So about 2 days. Yeah, I guess it is the 18th today, isn't it? Oh. Time really flies, it's crazy. So this will be a text mesh pro button. Yes, 160. Okay. And I like that it's centered, that's good. So I do want one of these to be up, the other one to be down. So this will be up. Build 10 will just make the engine a little more user-friendly, and bug fixes. Yeah, user-friendliness is a major part of usability in a lot of software. It's very hard to do right. So let's say that this is down. No, this is going to be up. I was wondered, why isn't Text Mesh Pro the default in Unity? What it is it's a long story. Text Mesh Pro. So Text Mesh Pro was like an asset that was designed by a group outside of Unity, and for a very long time, you'd have to import it, like you'd have to go to the asset store and download it because it was just strictly better than the Unity stuff. And I guess they haven't, I think they just haven't like fixed the entirety of the engine to deal with it or something. So yeah, I don't know. There also might be like old code that depends on it. Like some old games probably require it, and so they can't like pull it out of the engine, and they can't make it the default just because of those old games. It has to do with like legacy code or something. Like I would imagine, you know, Supercell probably uses it for Clash of Clans somewhere, and they're like, we can't replace it because if we do, it'll break. And so, yeah, it's probably something to do. It's usually stuff to do with that. It's just reverse compatibility. And yeah, like one thing you learn in software development is that reverse compatibility is a great thing for users, but it absolutely sucks for the developer. It really constrains you to what you can do. And the way to think about that is that you have to train that if you want reverse compatibility, that means that you have to tell the machine to, you know, make the same mistakes that it always made. It can't actually, you know, evolve the code in any way. Because you can play any Click Lua game with any version. We'll add version checks to check if or remove something so you can't play old games if it doesn't work correctly. Yeah, that's sort of, yeah, it's reverse compatibility. One thing about, I guess I will say, like one thing that makes Java, you know, begrudgingly a decent language is that they are like terrified to break old code. Like Java versions are very reverse compatible, like almost, you know, almost to a fault it's reverse compatible. And so that's one of the reasons that like something like Java never evolves, is because if it tried to, it would break too much old code. Whereas with C#, they very routinely break old code, and it's very annoying. It'll just be a file and incompatibility without an extension for the project version. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know exactly how you can do compatibility in a great way. Comp, maybe. I would just call it compatibility, just to make it a little bit more readable. I don't know. I am one of those people that is like staunchly against abbreviations just because I've seen it too many times. I've seen, you know, egregious abbreviations. Like in C, I think it's in C, there's a method called, you know, I think it's LPT CTC STR, I think is the method name. And it stands for, if I remember, long pointer to constant tchar string is, I think, the method name. So yeah, after working with this for a little while, I was like, nope, I will never abbreviate again. Because it's just, you know, you see stuff like that and you're like, what does that even do? Like, even if you know what a long pointer and a, you know, constant tchar string are, you're like, how do I convert between them? What is the method for that? It really sucks. But yeah, some stuff I'm just like, I can't do abbreviations. So we're going to have a button for skills and a button for events. And now we need to actually switch between them. Go with comp, and if you delete the file, every time start the project, it won't work anymore. I thought the point was to make it more user-friendly, not less user-friendly. I mean, you probably have to figure out like what the default compatibility is. So we'll say event. Was it skills first or events? We'll say skills. And then events second. Yeah, that'll work. Alright. So this will be skills. And then this will be events. Alright, so the idea is that whenever we press the skills button, we want to show skills. When we press the events button, we want to change to show events. So you got to figure that one out. So what we need to do is we need to say public, no, say public void show event or show skills, something like this. And then we will do that, and then we'll say public void show events, something there. Probably make the console a separate file named console.cla. So you can make your own console if you really wanted, because you can make a console then in ClickTeam. Yeah, that's a good idea to let people output, to do whatever kind of console they want. Just because people have very particular ways about how they like doing logging and stuff like that. I mean, you can actually do that in Unity as well. You can do, I think it's debug.unity console. What they do is they give you like a callback. So they have, I think it's the Unity logger, and then you can do something like, it's like log handler. Yeah, you can add like a log handler, and then you can do, you can create your own log handler and basically attach it to the Unity debugger or Unity like debug.log, so that you can create like an in-game kind of logger. It's kind of cool. And so you like your Unity events will go straight to the logger. Show skills, okay. And so what we want to do, CLA is custom extension, and then console will then will be open source. So ClickTeam sub applications can have custom extensions. Okay, that's cool. So on start, we want to show skills. So one thing I don't know is in C#, if you try to unregister a callback from an action, or if you try to unregister a delegate from an action that doesn't have the delegate originally, what happens? I guess we get to find out. Yeah, I guess we get to find out. Show details for skill. No, show there's an extra L in there. No. Show skill details. Yes, there we go. Say protected, avoid show, let's say event details. Yes. String event name. Okay. But if the engine doesn't detect CLA, it will simply download a new one. Oh, that's cool. So if you don't detect, I don't know, you should probably have some way to detect like the default version. Skill view, this should not be called the skill view now, this should just be called the list view. Then we'll have to say list view.onSelect. So let's see what happens if we unregister a delegate that doesn't exist. Will this crash is the question. Let's find out. Yeah, it does. Okay. Wait a minute. Nope, that's a different error. That is an error from you. You are in content now. No, you are... Oh, you're here. Okay. Set up the list view. Really? That's not an error. Wow, that's interesting. Okay. Actually, we need to figure out what the current onSelect is. So we'll say action string. No. No. Say system. This will be the action. We'll say onSelect. So what we'll do is we will have a public, or no, have a protected void unregister callbacks. Yeah. And so what we will do is we will say if onSelect is null, then we return. And we'll do that as an early return. That way the first time we call this we won't have any issues. Otherwise we'll say listview.onSelect minus equal to onSelect. And so whenever we show the skills, we want to unregister callbacks. And then we want to say that the onSelect is equal to show skill details. And then the, the list view.onSelect is equal to the onSelect here. And so now in show events, we can say that we want to unregister callbacks. We want to show event details. And then, yeah, that will work there. All right. And so we need to say event list dot all dot for each, and we say, or no, we need to map the event at event. It's a fun thing in C#. If you have a variable that is the name of a keyword, or if you want to use a keyword as a name, so for instance event, you can just put the @ in front of it and it will treat it as if it's called event. That will even work for like class members as well. It's really cool. So we want to map each event to its name. And then we want to say toList for each. So for each event, or for each string, we're just going to say listview.add because we can add strings to listview. So that should work. Now all we need to do is whenever we click the button, when we click the events button, we call show events. When we click the skills button, we say show skills. So we have skills here, and what we need to do is on click, we need to remove this. And it should be in here, in the test component. We need to show the skills. In here, in the test component, we need to also show the events. Yes, okay. All right, this is off to a great start. I really like this. Also, at 12:30, I will be doing some more, what's it called? Lua. Yes. Ooh, that didn't do what I wanted. Okay. Because we need to do listview.clear. Yes, there we go. That'll work. Okay. So now we show the skills. Oh, 12:30 in CTE. So right now it's 11:30. So what I'll do, basically what I'm doing is I'm doing I'm doing an hour and a half. Oh wow, it's 5:30 right now. Is it CET? Is CET? Oh, Central European Time. Okay. Is that right? Is it Central European Time? Is that CET? Or is it Central something else? Ooh, also we're not selecting stuff. Okay, CET. Whenever we clear, we don't refresh the selection. Interesting. Say, when we add stuff, we really need to highlight selected, but we don't. Or as more people know, or as more people know it, GMT +1. Yeah, I should get familiar with how GMT stuff works, but I just don't know. Just so that the time shifts somewhere in GMT plus 2, because that's how time works over here. Just that the time shifts sometimes. We're in GMT plus 2. So I just like to use CT. Yeah, that makes sense. It's similar with the place that I live. So in Texas, in the US, the time zone is technically called Central Time, I believe, but it represents 2 times. So it represents, I think it's like CST, which I think is like Central Standard Time, and then it also represents CDT, which I think is Central Daylight Time, and they're like an hour apart. And so depending on what time of the year it is, Central Time actually represents one of 2 time zones. It's one of those 2. It's horribly stupid and confusing, because if you have, and it just switched like a couple days ago. So like if you're looking at, I know this because I had a job where I had to generate reports, and so like around March, it would basically say like, March 1st CST to March 30th CDT, and it's like, dear God, why? It's the stupidest thing. It's just so terrible. And it looked really crazy, and people were like, why is this? People looked at the reports and they're like, why is it that way? Yeah, we go 1 hour forward and backwards. Yep, same thing. We call it daylight savings time. I don't know if that's what it's called around the world though. But yeah, it's really annoying. It just basically ends up being that you have to wake up and change change all of your like appliances and stuff, because they don't shift automatically. So I have to change like my oven, I have to change my microwave, and I have to change my car. Yeah, it had something to do. Yeah, it had something to do with like power saving. Like I think the idea was that if you shifted the time, then people would be off the roads like an hour earlier or something, and it would result in like an hour less of driving, like an hour less of using your heat and stuff like that. But over time it has just gotten more senseless. But yeah, I know that it had something to do with that. I don't know if it still applies or not. So what I'm trying to figure out is why this is not actually highlighting stuff, because it should be. Why? I don't understand why it's not. I don't understand why it's not highlighting. But yeah, I hope one day we can just get rid of it, because it's just an inconvenience to everyone. Plus there's like better ways to, there's better ways to save energy and to fight some of the issues around like climate change and stuff. Index is selected. But yeah, I don't know, it's just a massive inconvenience for society. And also, if you're working with stuff like databases, it can be a massive pain in the ass. Engine, you should use the new docs, because the old ones suck. Yeah, I will definitely use the newer documentation. So here it's telling me that index 0 is selected. And I'm getting that event 10 to, wait, what? Hang on. 10 times. Oh, okay, that actually makes some level of sense. The issue... Well, okay, when we add stuff, we actually don't need to highlight the selected. It's only when the selection moves. Yeah, I don't understand why that's not working. Why is that not working? because the default color is determined on awake. Yeah. You're gonna add any animations for the highlighting to make it easy. Yeah, I'm gonna do that at some point. Probably the way that I'm going to do that. There's a couple ways I could do that. Probably just, yeah, I don't know. I have to think about how I'm actually gonna do that. But yeah, I definitely want to add some animations at some point. As soon as I can make the actual highlighting work. Because apparently it doesn't. But yeah, I really don't know why this is not working. Because this should be calling add for each one of these, and add by itself should cause the highlighting to update, although it technically doesn't need to do that. Why would that not be working? Because the elements are the same. Programmers must feel, yeah, utter confusion. Because it knows, so it knows which index is selected. Okay. Is selected, all right. Let's see. Sure, log the child.name. Index with that child is selected, okay. And with, sure, let's grab the background color here instead. And let's see what that actually looks like. No, don't compile that. All right. Two says, yeah, confusion and more confusion. I mean, there's two states. There's, you know, I am literally God and I know everything about the world, and then there's I don't know anything. So yes, this is okay. Yeah, I should have expected this to be called template-clone. Okay. Yeah. I should have expected this. Okay. What I'll do is in create item, wherever I might have put that. No, really, where did I put that? Here, okay. So we'll say item.name. Is this the object? Wait, is this giving me a game object? No, it isn't. GameObject.name is equal to element. There we go. Okay. So yeah, whispers is selected. Yeah. No events. Why is that happening? Now it's telling me that that's selected. Life cycle. Code created. Doesn't work. The small patch later. Doesn't work. Yep. Yeah, exactly. There was an old meme, and what it was is it was like a git log, and you know, like it was, you know, at the end it was like, you know, updating, you know, resolve this issue, blah blah blah. At the end it was like, you know, segmentation fault, you know, fuck this, I'm gonna go play Skyrim. It's basically what it is. Okay, so that's where that's not working. So whenever I click skills, it shows the skills, but it thinks arena is selected. Why? Can't tell if my sound just died or you accidentally muted your mic. On my end, it looks like I am speaking. So I think your sound is dead. Or I think your, yeah, I think your sound is dead. Okay. Okay, yeah, it's... It doesn't... Yeah, from OBS, it doesn't seem like any frames dropped there. It also doesn't look like my mic is messed up, but maybe I hit the mute button, and maybe I hit it. I don't know. It's weird. So, okay, why is this doing this? Because if I click skills, yeah, it shows that whispers. But if I click events, it shows that it's whispers. But how's that happening? Because for clearing, yeah. And then, So in clear, it's doing elements.clear, right? Now it's clearing the items, yeah. So all of that should be, that's the issue. It's not immediately destroying them. I was wondering how to voice chat? Always wondered myself how to voice chat. What do you mean? Like, how, I don't know what you mean there. So this is something that I forgot about Unity. It's that when you call destroy, right? So you would imagine that it actually destroys the object, but it doesn't do that. What it does is it marks the object for destruction. So what happens is when we call listview.clear, we mark the objects, like all the children there, for destruction, but because we're adding them in the same frame, we're adding the new ones in the same frame, they don't actually get destroyed. So we actually add the new objects before we destroy the old ones. That's what's happening here. So I believe you use destroy immediate for that. And I think that guarantees that it's destroyed like before this finishes. Yeah, destroy child. It's pretty bad whenever you search like Unix processes. You're like, or Linux processes. You're like, how do I kill a fork? How do I kill a child with a fork or something? It's pretty bad. But yeah. There we go. Okay. So yeah, that's exactly what was happening. Is it was adding... Ooh, that's not what was happening. What on earth? Hang on. Something's still a little broken. Alright. So you go to events. That displays all of them, but doesn't destroy... Wait, what? Am I crazy? I mean, at least that's different. I thought that this strongly recommended to use destroy instead. What's the overload here? Allow destroying assets? No. Really though? That doesn't work? Is it object or is it destroy? So both. How to kill a child, but you forgot to type. Yeah, exactly. Why? Why do you not work? Oh geez. Okay. Destroying. And then dot game object. So what are you trying to destroy then? Because... And why is it not destroying them? Okay. So now, wait a minute. So we would expect, alright. Destroying child. No, let's destroy, okay. So whenever I click events, we shouldn't get destruction for any, yeah. Destroyed all of that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It destroyed all of that. But now, why did it not... Why did it not... Oh. Is it... modifying those. Oh, wow. Okay, that's crazy. So the other problem with this, wow, that's crazy. All right. So the issue with this is that now this actually modifies this list while we're iterating over it. Wow, I'm surprised that the for each doesn't get mad about that. That's crazy. So, wow, that's crazy. That's just crazy. Okay, so to fix this is actually pretty easy. We can just create a list of game objects. And really what we want to do is, I don't think there's any way to be like content.getChildren. I don't think there's any way to do that. I don't think you can do like content.getChildren. Like you can get the child count, but you can't get the actual children. I guess you could get the rect transforms in the child, but that's, I don't like that. You know, in Minecraft back then, I questioned the use of block IDs, but now I realize localization and shit. Yeah, localization is a massive pain. But I think the block IDs, are just like a faster sort of lookup. They're also, it's also easier to store like a block ID. Like you can destroy, or you can store, yeah, block IDs in a really tiny space. Like you could have up to 4 billion, you know, literally like 4 billion block IDs, and you could store them in, you know, like 4 bytes each or something. But I think like the original only had like, I think originally they had a very small number. I think it was only like 256 or something. It's something really tiny. But yeah, that allowed them to store the worlds in like really tiny amounts of space. Actually, I think what we can do is we can do transform. Yeah, the more that I think about this, the more I think it actually might work. Find, no, not find. Get components. Get component. Get component. Components in children. Can you specify a max depth with this? Oh, you can't. Oh, that sucks. Alright. Alright, faster lookup. Tell me what's faster to type, stone or Minecraft/stone. Well, the, by faster lookup, I mean a, block ID can be like an index. So I'm thinking like, in an array, right? Because you can say like, you can create an array of like, you know, 0 being air, 1 being dirt, 2 being stone, or whatever. I think those are right. And then you can look up, you know, block ID 0, block ID 1, 2. Whereas if it were literally called stone, you'd have to create like a dictionary or a hash map or something. And it's actually slower to look up in a hash map than it is to look up in an array. I mean, a hash map lookup is constant, but it is not, it's relatively constant. It's not entirely constant, but it's faster than matching on a string. It also, whenever you want to store it in like a file, you can just store a block ID if you're doing like between 0 and 1024? No. 512, I don't remember the number. But something, you can store it as like 2 bytes or 4 bytes or whatever, depending. Okay, so the way that we have to do this is we have to do items is going to be equal to a new list of game objects. So yeah, the issue that we're getting is that whenever we do destroy immediate on the game object, it modifies this list, and we don't want to do that. So what we have to do is we have to say items.add child.gameObject, because there's no other way to do it, and then we say items.forEach destroy immediate. There we go. So we destroy each item immediately. And this, because the items are already in the list, it will not modify this list. So whenever I make my own survival game in Unity or Godot, I'll use IDs as well, because since I'll be 2D, I can store the world in a 2D array. Yeah, that works. There's also... Yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. Just because the worlds are so large, they need to be, especially with something like Minecraft, the world is so large, you need to compact the data, you know, as much as you possibly can. Let me think about, yeah, so this should work. I'm doing this right. First I have to learn about Perlin noise, and that, Perlin noise is not super hard though. Oh my god, it works. There we go, perfect. Yep, it works. Great, okay. So figured out that issue. Also, let me do this and that. Okay. Yeah, Perlin noise, you basically just give it an X and a Y, and you can just grab the Perlin noise that way. Like, you can think of it like, it works the same way as random. I mean, it doesn't work the same way, but it gives the same, you use it the same way as you do random. And so you can do, I think Unity does math, or does Perlin. So I think you do like mathf.perlin or something. Yeah, and you just give it an X and a Y, and that's really all you gotta do. And if you want to use like, I don't know, like a seed or something, you just offset it. A better error system, yeah. Let me see here. So all this works, at least for the most part. So I think I got rid of all the print statements, and we just need to go to events. Yeah. Let's get rid of the underscores here so that these look a little bit nicer. And then what we shall do is in the show event details, what we want to do is basically want to do this, but for the event name. It's the event list .all.find an event such that the event name is equal to the event name, give the description. There we go. Okay, instead of an exception screen, the errors will be written to the console. If it's a fatal error, which mostly errors are for whatever reason, then it will either crash with a log.txt or just use the exception screen. Might have multi-language support. Okay. Yeah, well, most languages, I mean, errors in most, what do you mean by fatal versus non-fatal? Like, some languages, like Java, have a difference between exceptions and errors, but they're not, I don't think that that's common. I think that most languages just have fatal errors and that's it. Actually, that's a good question. In C#, is there a difference between an error and an exception? Let me think about that. Versus exception. Is there a difference in C#? There is. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Well, that's cool. Working and a regular error is. But yeah, but there's. Is there a difference in Lua versus error versus exception? I don't think so. Yeah, I think Lua only has errors. Or it only has. Identifies limitations, describes issues with non-string error objects, an exception scheme. Yeah, okay, so Lua only, it appears that Lua only has errors. It doesn't, they misuse the word except, well, no, I guess Lua only has exceptions, it doesn't have errors. So like in things like C# and Java, there's a difference. Yeah, but I think that Lua doesn't have, I don't think it has like the difference between a recoverable and a non-recoverable. Like in In something like C# or Java, there's differences. Like an error represents a non-recoverable situation, whereas an exception represents a recoverable one. Yeah. But in Java, if you don't handle an exception, it still causes the program to crash, and so do errors. They represent different things to the actual like programmer. Okay, so if this worked, then we should be able to, well, the names will look better, and we should also see the event descriptions for some events. So for here, we can definitely see the different skill descriptions. If we go to events, yeah, arena's place where contestants fight, yeah. Okay, and the lower ones don't have descriptions. All right, so I'm happy with that. Okay, and this, I'll make this look a little bit better at some point, and also, yeah, make this look a little bit better at some point. So skills, right. So the next thing I want is buttons over here that do confirm, and like, because it's going to be possible in the game for users to learn different skills. So in the case of, let's say, metalworking, if we click like the confirm button, we want to remove metalworking from the list, and then at some point we want to refresh the list, and I actually want that tied to a different button. So what I will do is over here on this panel, I'm going to add a grid layout component, and we will not have the start corner. Well, start corner I guess can be the upper left, but we want the start, well, actually no. First thing we want is a fixed column count. We want there to be one column exactly. And we want the children to align in the middle center. And then we want them to be, I don't know, 190 by 190. And maybe a spacing of, say, 10. And we want 4 of them, I believe. Or 5, sorry. I want this one to be in the middle. And we want it to be, no, actually. Yeah, I guess this will be fine. We'll call this update, because it'll be tied to some kind of update function. We'll call this update as well. So can we get away with these being 200 by 200? Just barely, but I'll say 190 by 190. And make it, I don't know, 25? No. 10. 15? 20. 20? 20. All right. So we have that. We also probably want to copy this. We want a grid layout. We want to copy this. And this will be, I don't know what this will be. Call it something at some point. But we want to paste, or what is it? It's paste component as new. That's what we want to do. Yeah, all right. So let's copy this button and we will paste it into here. Whoops, no. We'll paste, no, we need to paste as child. Yeah, there we go. All right, you're back. What happened here? Weird. All right, let me just copy you, and let me just paste you into here. Yes, okay. And I want this to align to the middle lower center. Not exactly what I wanted. I think we can add maybe padding here. 20? 25. Sure. All right. I want 25 at the top. Yeah. Okay. And so these are going to be back, and confirm. And of course, these will be updated to have symbols later as opposed to having the words on them. Yeah, this will be confirm. So the flow that I want for this, at least the thing for what I want to demo, or what I want to do, is I want to be able to say, like, you hover over basic reading, you click confirm, it'll get removed from the list, Then we click update, and whatever basic reading unlocks then gets added to the list. So I want to have a couple, what are they called, methods here. So I'm going to say on click, click confirm. I'll have my engine doesn't have much of a UI. Yeah, UI is a difficult thing. I don't know. I'd still recommend looking into different libraries and stuff, because there are a lot of UI only exists to play the game. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of UI libraries out there, and UI is one of those difficult things to do. Say on click update. You do everything in VSC or whatever else you use. Yeah. Do everything in VSC. VSC, I assume you mean like Visual Studio Code. So whenever we click confirm, what we want to do for the skill list, to understand that I use, yeah, but you should be able to include like a DLL or something. Like you should be able to include some kind of external code. Yeah, VS Code's a pretty good IDE. I just prefer Visual Studio just because it's what I'm familiar with. The problem with Visual Studio is that there's menus upon menus upon menus upon menus upon menus upon menus that lead to more menus that also lead to even more menus. And the options menu looks like something right out of Eclipse. I mean, you should be able to include DLLs. Well, like most libraries for like UI and stuff, they compile down to a DLL. Like there's usually a like if you found like say a UI library or something, usually they compile to a DLL. So you should be able to just include the DLL, and then people can use that library. Like a lot of game engines do that. They just sort of aggregate other UI library or other libraries in general. Like for instance, Unity, they used to not have their own physics engine. They actually used to use like well, I mean, so that people can use UI. I don't know. I mean, you could do the same thing with like physics as well, or collision. Like my understanding is that Unity, whenever it first came out, they didn't have their own UI stuff. They didn't have their own. Also, that's not how it works. That is how it works. You just include a DLL, and then you boot up the DLL, or you use whatever engine you need. But like Unity has, or it used to have Bullet in it. You can't just use libraries. I don't understand why not. If you can include a DLL, you should just be able to arbitrarily load the DLL and use the library. Like if you can include a DLL, you can use the library, like 100%. Unless I can't even imagine. No, unless yeah, if you can include a DLL, or even I mean, you don't even need the DLL really. You just need the code. Like you need the source. But yeah, any open source library that you should be able to use interacts directly with QuickTeam to do stuff. But why can your script not just boot up the library itself? Like, I mean, it's similar to the way that Unity works, right? Unity has, it has its own internal stuff, but if you wanted to, like, include your own UI or something, you can do that too. The same thing is true with physics. Like, even in Unity, you can include your own physics engine if you want. You just have to build the components to do it. So in, let's say, on-click confirm, what we want to do, I think we want to say, how do you expect me to interact to make that interact with QuickTeam? So if it has like, I assume you can store global variables, and if you can, what you do is normally like you would say new Like, you know, if it's called, so for physics, for example, you usually would do like, you know, bullet dot create, you know, and then in your global variables, you would just say, you know, var, you know, physics engine or something in whatever your like startup script is, and then you just interact with it there. I'm sure there's a way to do it. If you can store some kind of global memory, you should be able to do it. Now, if you can't store global memory, then it would get harder. But you could still theoretically do it. It would just be too slow, but yeah. But I assume since you have your engine, you should be able to, you should have global variables, like global memory. But I mean, you can do the same thing in Unity. But I need to figure out how to do this. So I need to say list view dot, right, okay. So in the onSelect, we need to keep track of what's actually selected. So we'll say selected skill. So in here, when the skill is selected, equals skill name, yes. So then what we can do is on confirm, we can say if skill name, or if selected skill not null, or if it is null, then we just want to return. If it is, then we should return, else what we want to do is we want to say list view dot remove selected skill, yes, and then on click update we just do show skills, basically just do the same thing. Then we probably want to say player dot skills, embedded in them, and I'll make an extension creator. Yeah, but what I'm saying is if you can, so for even if your script has to just be an extension, as long as the script has global memory, you should be able to use any kind of library that you want. The idea being that if, you know, most things like say bullet or something, most libraries have a, like, you know, object that represents them. And so you just throw that object into global memory, you just hook in the extension to, oh, whoops, this is not a thing. You add that. If you have a DLL, you should be able to just execute whatever the creation object is, store it into global memory, and then just access it from your extension, whatever it might be. So say skills.add, then we remove it from the list. Won't help me, how would it help me? I can't make it interact with anything. You should be able to. The UI library might be a little bit different depending on how it spawns, let's say, depending on how it spawns stuff. But you could also, for something like physics, right, most of the libraries have like callbacks you can register, and if they don't, then you can create a facade. And the facade is what will have the callbacks that interact with the library itself. I can't think of any use for a library in this project, but if there was one, I would show you how to do it. You can though. Well, what you would do, yeah, you could. If you have CL underscore like move or whatever, I assume that's, yeah. So if you could store, like, let's say bullet, if you could store the physics engine itself into like a global variable, then you could just access the global variable, right? Okay, so we say onClick confirm, unregister callbacks, onClick confirm players.skills.add. So you add the selected skill, yeah. We show the skills. Yeah, okay. And then in show events, we need to say selected skill equal null. In unregister, no, here this will work. All right. Yeah. Yeah, 20 minutes. So with confirm, in here, we want to say list component, no, test component, unclick confirm, and then in update, we want to say test component, on click update, yes, okay. So now if we go down to, let's say basic reading, right? If we click confirm, it does not remove it. Ooh, Stack Overflow. Into an airplane? Oh, is it really? Is my... Oh, it is still showing. Wow, okay. I guess my computer is, Alright. Let's try that filter. Wow. That is the strongest filter I can put on my microphone, and it still doesn't seem to work. But okay. And I lost where that Stack Overflow was. Okay, so if we click confirm. Uh-oh. Well, that's fun. So why did that cause a Stack Overflow? Did I call remove on... Must have called remove on script itself, or on the object itself. Yeah, that's fun. Alright. What did I do? Like, I haven't broken Unity in a long time, so I'm impressed with myself. So if I do remove at, no, that's fine. Remove. Yeah, alright. That's fair. Alright. That's what I meant to do. That's fair. At least it didn't destroy my recording, though. Okay. So, oh, whoops, I confirmed all of those. I did not mean to confirm all those. All right. So it seems like all that worked. So if we update, now we get the new skills. Okay. But I want to test that one at a time now. So let's say we do metalworking. That should give us smithing. So if we do that, then we update. We get the smith apprentice, yeah. So if we confirm that, then we update. I think that gave us smith, yeah. I think that's fine for smithing, yeah. So I think footwork gives you some kind of weapons training? Yeah, weapons training. Yeah, okay. And so, all right. We do basic, and then we confirm that, gives us advanced, and then we confirm that, we update. Yeah, we don't get anything else. We get combat training, so if we get that, then update, okay. Yeah, so the skill system definitely works. The events, okay. And yeah, the skills work as well, okay. Cool. Happy with that. All right, I need to get water and some other stuff, so I will be back in about 5 minutes, and I'll see you then. Alright, and I am back. You should make that a tree system instead of a list, IMO. I agree that there's it has sort of like a tree structure kind of look to it. The issue with like a tree structure for this is that there's two things. One, I don't want the player to know necessarily what skills unlock which other skills. If I did, then a tree would be a great idea. But the other issue is that it's sort of non-linear. So for instance, if like for the mage sort of pattern, like the mage thing, it focuses on reading. So you have like, if you learn, I think, reading, it should give you, what is it? It's like basic reading, and then it goes to normal reading, I think. Yeah, normal reading. And then if you learn both that and, what is it? It's simple research. No, reading unlocks spellcraft. Or it should. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, reading should unlock spellcraft. I didn't have my hand anywhere near my mic. Yeah, reading should unlock spellcraft. I don't know why it didn't. Maybe it was changed to something else. Maybe it's simple research that it requires. I know we need research, simple research. Headphone port, yeah, that's fair. Okay, yeah, it looks like that unlocked. Do we really need both research and what else do we need? It said that we just need reading. Okay, what did I mess up? What unlocks spellcraft? Hey W, how's it going? Yeah, so there's two that I want to work on right now. Whoops. So this is interesting. If you search DuckDuckGo on DuckDuckGo, it will give you recipes for duck. I have no idea why. So the one that I did was the 7DRL, and then the next one that I want to do is this Scorespace one. Starts in 23 hours, and then that lasts for like 3 days. And then after that, there's the Dungeon Crawler one that we were working on earlier. That one is in 2 weeks. So we'll still have time to work on it before. But this, I'm just sort of working on a list view, like a more generic list view thing, because I want to do like sort of a list-driven game. But yeah, I basically have it down to the point where, what is it? It's a list view component, and the idea is that it implements list of string, and so basically all I have to do is I just modify this Unity object as if it's a list, and it will sort of update the list view in the background for me. So it's like super convenient because we just do things like, you know, add or clear, and it just works. And it just backs everything with a list of strings, and it'll just implement different callbacks and sort of things to, you know, make all that work. And it has like a selectable thing as well. The idea is that it's going to be like a mobile game, so that's why the buttons are like massive, and that's why we have the up and down kind of linked to the UI as opposed to the keyboard. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm working on. And right now, I think I just discovered an issue. So if I go to Spellcraft, what did I make that? It requires cantrips and reading. And what does cantrips require? Of course, basic reading. Oh, right. I never learned the cantrips thing, did I? Right. Yeah, okay. So simple reading, or basic reading, I guess, should unlock cantrips. Yes, okay. So that's part of the magic path. So I grab cantrips, and then I grab normal reading. We should get another one called spellcraft, which we do. Yeah. And then if we get spellcraft and research, so we need simple research before. Simple research is like the early version. Then that unlocks, what's it called? Unlocks advanced magic, or it should. Oh, we need normal research actually. Update. Yeah, that unlocks advanced magic. And then So there's Spellcraft, and if we get Whispers and then Dark Whispers, update, and then we grab that, should unlock Demonology. Okay. So there's like two endgame paths that have to deal with magic. One of them is the Magician, the other is the Sorcerer. And so this is like where you have to make the choice. So like Advanced Magic will lock you into like the Magician path, and then the Demonology skill locks you into the Sorcerer path. And I'm curious, oh yeah, I remember now. So if we grab Advanced Magic, Demonology should disappear, and if we grab Demonology, Advanced Magic should disappear. I want to test the Demonology path. So if I grab this, we should get Curses, and Advanced Magic should disappear. So let's do that. Oh, but if we learn it here, it doesn't get rid of it automatically. Ooh. Now that's interesting. Okay. Right, so you could theoretically learn both at the same time. We need to not have that happen. Okay. So that's a bug. But if we update this, then it should get rid of Advanced Magic. Yeah, it does, and it replaces it with Curses. Alright. Then we update this, and yeah, now we get the Sorcerer path. Alright, so my engine is designed to be an open source engine, but not in the regular way. What I mean is that the games are open source, so the export button only copies the assets and downloads the player. Ah, okay. Just that the player or the export buttons don't exist yet. Yeah, the what is it? The best improvement in functionality in software is going from the working or from the non-working state to the working state. So now if we grab Sorcerer, that's like the end game sort of like, you know, there's certain skills that you can get. Sorcerer is like one of the end game kind of professions. So if we grab this, it should unlock both summoning and enchanting. And enchanting overlaps with the Magician. So if we grab that, should get both summoning and enchanting, which we do. And yeah, those don't do anything on their own. But yeah. So what we need to do is whenever we learn a skill, we need to check if there's an exclusion for it, and if there is, we need to get rid of the exclusions. Simplest compiler is no compiler. Yeah, that's true. What is it? Deleted code is debugged code. Are you familiar with what a quine is? It's an interesting kind of program. So if we unclick confirm skills.add, skills.remove, but we need to find the actual skill itself, which is in skill list.all.find skill, yeah, such that skill.name is equal to skill name, selected skill. So Quine is a program that prints its own source code. So like if you have you know, a Java program, it's like it outputs its own source code. So the idea is that you can copy the output of it and you can paste it back into the compiler and it will print itself. It's really cool, but the only rules are that it has to be non-empty and it can't take any input and output. So you can't like open an output and input stream to your own source file. You're not allowed to do that. But anyway, in one of the competitions, before they made the non-empty rule, somebody submitted an empty text file because that's technically a Quine. It's technically valid. But yeah, it's kind of a funny sort of program. What I want to do is I also want to remove, okay. We have the skill. Remove the selected skill. Now what we need to do is we need to say exclusions. Yep. I do want to finish this bit really quickly though. So we'll say warn exclusion. No, this is going to get more complicated because it may not exist. All right, I'll just go over to, what can I do? Okay, debug.error. What we'll say is need to add or need to remove exclusions. Sure. You were wondering what log error is for. That's what it's for. It's for reminding you where you left off. All right. Let me actually go into, what is it? It's this, what is it? Lua demo, I think. Lua demo, yes. Okay. 0 minutes. What emote is that? Oh. I thought that, did that emote, I thought they removed one of the, oh no, I guess that one they didn't remove. I know didn't Twitch remove an emote recently or something? I thought that was a thing. Anyway, let's close down Unity. And then let me change this over to the browser. Yes. So we're capturing only this window, that's fine. Get rid of you. No, I didn't. I had intended to, I just didn't. Yeah, yesterday was kind of busy for me, just coding all that skill stuff, and yeah. Yeah, they removed an emote, but I can't remember which emote it was. Wait, what do you mean it's the removed emote? I thought they removed... Really? I mean, how can that be but how can you be using it if it's removed? Seriously? Really? Is that a real thing? Oh my god. Was it really removed? Was that the one, really? Oh my god. Yeah, it was. Okay, I thought it was a different one, but yeah, okay. I'm glad I remembered I just knew the name, and I'm glad that I got that right. Okay. So that's... Sure, okay. Glad they did that. That made Twitch a better place rather than, you know, any actual development work they could do on Twitch itself, but sure, whatever. Sure, people won't raid the Capitol if they can't use their emotes. That's how that works. Alright. Let's go to game development. Not really software development. Alright. Yeah. Nope, don't want to do that. Okay. Right, bubble sort. I think that's what I'm going to do. So, what do I remember? I remember, so we'll just say that the list that we want to sort is equal to, let's say, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, actually, it needs to actually be in not sorted order. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. And then I guess we'll just say function bubble sort. And we do that, and then I think we do end. And then we will say bubble sort. List, something like that. I see me put a semicolon. Oh, jeez. All right. And so we'll say for, what is it? It's, let me see, Lua iterate over list. What if alphabetical sorting? I could, but I don't know. For names equal 1. What? We can do alphabetical sorting a bit later. Wait. There's an error. Well, I mean, here there's an error, yeah. But if I run this... Is this an error? It is an error, yes. Well, okay. It's a mistake. List. But yeah, I think in Lua, right, you just specify the functions, yeah. List. Print list. Is that local? How does Lua handle that? You don't need to do... Huh. That's... Okay. I'm interested how that's actually working. Actually, we can't find out that way. We can find out this way though. So if I said log list of 1, if it's using this list, so if list refers to this, then it'll give us 1. If it refers to that, it'll give us 5. Most likely it'll give us an error. Okay. So it's local, yeah, okay. I just didn't remember how, I didn't know how it resolved that. But I guess that makes sense. So would I just say like global if I wanted to represent the reference the global version? All right. Yeah. I'm surprised that this is not an issue though. Because I mean, technically this is not an error. Yeah, it just does nothing. That's weird though. All right. So declares local variable, happens to be called names. Fact that you had, so for that, no. I want, so you have to do it that way. Is there no way there's iPairs for iname in iPairs names? I in name in pairs. Interesting. You can also ask me sometimes, as long as it isn't too advanced, I can probably answer. Yeah, the thing that I'm wondering is if Lua had a for each loop. It looks like it doesn't, so it looks like we need to do index number in list do end. We would want to print the number. But there's no way I can do like for number in list. Actually, what happens? Attempt to call a table value. Oh. Attempt to call a table value. Oh, it's in pairs. Never really need them. Oh, interesting. There we go. So we need to do it this way. I don't like that. I really don't like that. All right. So for each number, so let's create a sorted equals that. And so what we need to do, so for each number in the list, what we need to do is we need to find the lowest. I want to use lowest. Unsorted order 5, 2, 3. Okay, I mean I could sort it a little bit more. 2, 4, 3. Now it's super unsorted. I mean it is sorted in a way, I guess. But normally sorting is like lowest to highest. So we need, for bubble sort, we need 2 loops, if I recall right. So let me see here, Lua table length. What? Sure. DuckDuckGo. Alright, check your way through it. Pairs do. Really? Yeah. Yes, you were fatally wrong. Counts every key in the sequence. How to find the length of a table. Length of that, table that, yeah. I don't. You have to iterate through it? Data structure to get the length. We've already write manual code. Really? There's no function in Lua that gets you the length of a table? That's Upsetting. Alright, fine. I mean, I guess technically we don't need the number itself, we only need the index. And then we can do sure, for count, and then that. Then we can do for index number in, because we need to iterate through it a second time. So this first one gets us the count, the second one gets us the actual number itself. And then what we have to do is whenever we're iterating through the count, we need to find the lowest. So we say lowest is equal to the list at 1. Yes, wants to order. Exactly. I mean, imagine if it was that bad with, you know, killing the child type thing. At least it knows better than that. So what we need to say is we need to say list at count is equal to lowest. We need to do a swap though. So we need to say previous is equal to list at count. And then the list at count is the lowest. What if you right click, inspect element, made a web page dark theme? Can you actually do that? Made the web page dark theme. Is it possible? I mean, I don't know what you mean. Can I think this is more complicated than that. Yeah, I probably need to do that. Is there a way? Can I invert the rendering? I bet you I can. Invert. Really? I don't believe you. Can I invert web page's color? Yeah, sure, that'll work. Oh my god. Edit. Or no, it's, I need to add, wait, do I need to add CSS to this? I need to add in styles? In the, oh god, where is it? Oh, is it just here? Yeah, it's here. Can I not edit you? I can't edit you. Wait a minute. Yeah, how do I actually edit this? What I want to do, I just wanted to invert the entire thing. Edit as HTML? Oh, isn't there a way to do... No, that's not how that would work. WebKit filter dash invert? Oh, WebKit based browsers. Is there not a way? There's got to be a way. Click the white circle. Oh. No, I don't want to do that. What I want to do is that, I think. Right? Does that do what I want? Damn it, that doesn't do what I want. Does that really not? Really? That doesn't work? That's weird. Can I edit the style? I mean, I know that I can change the background color, but I'm looking for the styles tab. There's elements, and it looks like there's the computed style. Can add the following style, yeah. Computed? Browser styles, animations. I mean, I know you can change the background, well, you can't change it there. But I know you can change it here, like that, but that doesn't change everything. Like, that doesn't actually, has a color filter setting. I don't want to invert it for all of Windows, though. I just want to invert it. I mean, I know you can do this, but it doesn't, it just makes it look worse. Like, it now just looks, you know, I wanted to just invert the rendering temporarily, but I can't find that style, unfortunately. Or whatever, wherever that style sheet is, I can't find it. Oh, I'm just an idiot. God damn it. Just an idiot. Alright. Whoa, that broke something. And that doesn't work. Okay. HTML dash WebKit filter? Oh! It does work. Okay, that's how I do it. I'm dumb. Alright, that's how it works. I forgot the dash. Alright. Haha. Oh, that doesn't work here though. Because when I start dying. Alright. Haha. That's better. That's what I want to do, is invert the rendering, because it'll make everything dark theme, but it'll also invert the font so it's visible. There we go. Alright. So, oh, but that destroyed something. Okay, well that's unfortunate. So for count. So for bubble sort, basically go through each element. We can throw away the element. We can say lowest is equal to list of 1. And then we can say for, what is it? For index, it's index number in pairs at the list. We want to do something, and then we say end. And then so after we've determined the lowest, what we have to do then is that we say, or no, it's not, the lowest is list of count. That's what it is. So now, after we've determined the lowest, picked up a habit of making everything I do dark themed. Yeah. So I mean, technically what you could do is you could write like a Firefox extension, and all it would do is it would just go into the HTML and just add that line, and then all web pages are suddenly dark themed. You could totally do something like that. Or, I mean, on my phone, I just usually, like, if I wanted something to be dark themed, I'd just invert the rendering. That's what I used to do. It's like a very cheap version of dark theme. All right, so, but I've used like Eclipse for a long time, so I kind of got used to it. Like, I know that Eclipse has a dark theme, but the problem is that, oh wait, no, it's list of count -1. Actually. Yeah, I know that Eclipse has like a dark theme, but it looks awful. So what we want to say is that list, or no, the previous is equal to whatever the list of count was. All right, but we don't need the lowest number, we need the lowest index. That's what it is. Color filter, at least you can change it back easily. Yeah, that's true. So we need to store the lowest index is what we need to do. And that's going to be count. So the idea is that what we want to do is we want to say that previous is equal to whatever the list at the lowest index was. So we say whatever the previous value was. And then we say that the, wait, is that right? We basically want to swap whatever the list at, I'm going to say the list at count is equal to the lowest. Actually, no. We want to just say that the lowest is equal to count, because that's the lowest index, right? So we want to say the previous is equal to the lowest, whatever was at the lowest, and then we say we just want to swap these two basically. So the previous is equal to list of count, which is where we currently are. And then we say list of count is equal to list of lowest. So we move the lowest value to the current value. Then we say list of lowest is equal to the previous, which is whatever the current is. So I guess this is more like current, but whatever. So yeah, we just swap these two is basically what happens. And then in this case, what we say is if number less than the less than the list at lowest, then lowest is equal to index. I think that's right. That's interesting. Apparently that refreshes the HTML. Okay, I guess that makes sense. And then I guess we say, So we could say for something number in, sorry about your eyes, but this is, I think this is all we need to do. Say list, then we do end, we print the number. Should print a sorted list? Nope, it does not. Okay, I did something wrong. All right. So list is equal to count. For count in pairs list, yes. Okay. List is equal to count. So for index and number. In pairs list, if, right, we need to not be doing this though. We need to say for index equals count index, or for the number equals count, but we don't know the length. God damn it. God damn it, Lua. Alright. For index number in pairs that. I guess we can say if index less than count, then we want to, is there a continue in Lua by chance? Is that a thing? Continue, Lua, continue? Or is it called something else? You have to be kidding me. Oh my god, you are kidding me. Seriously? Oh my god, alright, well. Fine. 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 That's annoying. I mean, it's the same thing, but it's still annoying. Count greater than or equal to that, then. Alright. There we go. Now it works. Alright, and yeah, we can add any number. I think this will work with duplicates, but I don't know. It will most certainly work with duplicates. Okay. So yeah, that's bubble sort in Lua. It's an awful implementation of bubble sort, but it works. But yeah, that's interesting. Trying to think here. All right. That's my Lua for the day. It definitely works. Also, someone is bugging me. Interesting. All right, but anyway, that's my lure for the day. It works, but yeah, still have to improve. I'll probably do a little bit more practice off stream, and tomorrow I'll look at the engine and see if I can actually make Snake in 2 hours. So anyway, I'll see you guys. Yeah, I'll see you guys a little bit later. I will do another stream, play some kind of game, probably Gene Forge 2 at 3. But anyway, thanks for hanging out, Percentage Guy, and I'll see you guys later or tomorrow, whichever comes first.